Happy New Year, everybody. First show of 2025. And wouldn't you know, we got 3 college football playoff games to discuss. Mark, Zinno, and I, the fine people that we are, will be giving you a bet for all 3 games. I mean, how good is that? What a way to ring in 2025. Mark, Zinno, this will be our biggest year yet, I believe.
Yeah, 2024 was good to us, and we didn't start 2025 with a hangover. So, hey, I mean, things are
There
looking
we
up.
go.
Everything's coming up Millhouse these days. And hey, guess what? Okay, regardless of how fantastic our record was last year, start out at 0-0 2025. So we need to
That's
get
very
off on the
important.
right foot. Because what do we say on
Let
this show? What's the most important thing we do, Brian Power?
that you should drink the beer
No,
if you're going to
no.
review a beer. Oh, no, that's not. No. Oh.
That was yesterday's. We're moving on. It's a new year.
Okay.
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 What do we
So what's the
say? I
most
forget.
important thing we do on the morning wager?
Get them
It's like you
right?
don't do the
Is
show
that?
with me. Thank you. Dear Lord.
Oh.
Do you pay attention to the show that you're on every day, or are you just like mind-numbingly dumb?
It's very rude. I don't really like the way you're speaking to me to start the year. I do
I
pay
mean, dear
attention.
Lord. Just pay
I was
like we hand out winners. We get more right than wrong. Okay? That's the show mantra. We get more right than wrong.
I was
It's
playing game
enough.
to upset you. I'm gonna be honest
Oh,
with you.
good. Well, there you go.
Oh,
Good
well,
way to start
what do you?
this partnership off in the new year. Way to go.
Well, my goal, and I know yours is as well, is to get a 3-0 sweep to start 2025. So we've got 3 playoff games to discuss today. You are up first, the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. I'm not even going to attempt to do a Keith Jackson impression. I would
Why
not
did why
want
did
to
they call it
soil that man's vaunted reputation. I don't know. They just do, man. It's
that?
Ohio State and Oregon. You are going to lead us off. Oregon, this is your reward for being the number 1 seed, only undefeated team in the country. You play a team that many consider to actually be the best team in the country. I think a lot of power rating systems have Ohio State at number 1. So what do? It's kind of number 1 according to the pollsters versus number 1 in the eyes of the Vegas odds makers. Pretty good game, Mark. So it'll give us something.
Yeah, again, I mean, you go back to the regular season matchup, week 5, week 6, whatever it was, 2-point win or 1-point win for Oregon in a game where, you have to remember, Ohio State had the lead with 6 minutes left. They had the chance to score in the final minute. They were inside the Oregon 30. A bad penalty took them way out and killed the drive. Ohio State also had a touchdown that led to or a turnover rather, that led to an easy Ducks touchdown. I know Oregon's been the number 1 team in the country for the last month plus, but uh, Ohio State's it's a better team. And look, objectively, when you look at it this way, if we consider these offenses a push, and statistically they are, I know Dylan Gabriel's the better quarterback, but statistically these offenses are very similar when you look at all the metrics and numbers. The defenses are not. Oregon just gave up 37 to Penn State in the Big Ten championship game. Um, did you see what Ohio State did to Penn State's offense in that game? And that game was in Penn State, if I remember correctly, right?
It
Okay.
was. It was.
I was just
State
so
College. Happy
yes, that's the
Valley.
place it's called. Happy Valley was not happy that day. But you're just looking at Ohio State defense that outside of Texas is the best defense in the country. And that's enough for me to sell or to buy here rather than Ohio State is going to win this thing. I think they're the better team here. And for as much as we've said about Ryan Day and the narratives that surround him, and some of that may be true, you know what? He at least has experience in these games. Dan Lanning does not. And there's something to that. At
Mhm.
least Ryan Day, has the horses in the barn who have been here. Dan Lanning does not. So I will forego the 2.5 points and just save myself the headache in case this thing is extra quirky and an idiot kicker misses an extra point or whatever. I got minus 130 on the money line, Ohio State money line for my half of the double play.
Ohio State closed minus 3.5 in Eugene for the regular season meeting. Now they are minus 130 on the money line at a neutral site. Very interesting indeed. Smash that like button if you're rolling with Zinno on Ohio State money line in the Rose Bowl. Before the Rose Bowl, we have the Peach Bowl in your neck of the woods, Zinno, down in Atlanta, GA,
Mm-hmm.
as Arizona State takes on Texas. Arizona State, a big underdog. Arizona State, the number 1 ATS team in the country. this year. I believe they covered 6, 7 in a row coming into this game. They are the Big 12 champions. Texas, I have no sympathy for Texas not being a top 4 seed. You know why? I know, Mark, you're very big on the seeding of the college football playoffs, but you know what? I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't have a lot of sympathy for Texas not being a top 4 seed. You know why? They could have stayed in the Big 12 and won that conference and been a top 4 seed, but no, they wanted the SEC coffers. They wanted to go to greener pastures. So there's consequences that come with that decision, Texas. So here you are. You were not a top 4 seed. You had to win to get here to play Arizona State. I have no interest in playing the spread on this game, but you know what I do have an interest in playing? Cam Scatteraboo over 27 and a half yards receiving. Now, we all know what Scatteraboo can do in the rushing department. He had 170 yards on the ground in the Big 12 championship against Iowa State, had 177 against Arizona in the regular season finale. You look through, he's gone over 140 in quite a bit of games. But in the receiving department, Zinno, he has gone over this number of 27 and a half, 6 of his last 9 games. Did you know Scatterbo has 2 games this year where he had over 100 yards receiving? Now, those were against Texas Tech and Oklahoma State, a couple bad defenses. But I think we all figure if Arizona State is going to have success offensively in this matchup, it's going to be Scatterbo, right? I mean, their top receiver is still injured. I don't think to keep him involved, you can just keep handing him the ball against this Texas defensive front. Now, Texas defensive front does tend to wear down late in games. We've seen that. But for Arizona State to be in a position to even, be handing the ball off in the fourth quarter, they got to obviously keep this thing close for 3 quarters. They got to be creative to get Scatterbo involved in the offense. I think they do that with the passing game, screens, 27 and a half. It's not a particularly big number for a guy who had 38 yards receiving the Big 12 championship game, 44 yards receiving against Kansas State, 33 against Cincinnati, 41 against Utah, 117 against Texas Tech, 121 against Oklahoma State, 35 against Mississippi State. He can do it. Cam Scatterbo, my half of the double play, over 27 and a half yards receiving. We have another player prop coming up for our show Best Bet in just a little bit. But Mark, why don't you tell the people, what you got going on at WT.buzz/MZ here on January 1st as we look to forge ahead.
No, we'll have plays in all the playoff games for tonight. So make sure you guys jump in there. And of course, again, we have all the other college bowl games that are going on throughout the rest of the week. But mostly, again, January 1st, the 3 big bowl games. So I'll have a play in each one of those, and we even have some college hoops and an NBA to sprinkle in as well. WT.buzz/MZ.
It's interesting as I look at the screen here, seeing you bearded and not bearded in the frame there. It's just thought I'd throw that in there. There you go. That's Mark Zinno, not bearded. That's his that's his company headshot.
Somebody
There
in
he
the
has
comment section a couple of days ago told me the beard adds 10 years. I thought it was rugged and manly.
I think it's a better beard than Ryan Day. I'll say that. It's a better beard. Yeah, they frown upon that. That's why I was never in the Army, because I wanted to keep the beard.
I know, which is again stupid, because it's like, what does this affect?
I'm
Nothing.
stupid, or this? Oh,
No,
yeah.
like the Army. Like they need to change their stupid shaving policy. I've said that for years. Like their claim is that you can't get a good seal with the gas mask because it'll create sweat, and so you'll break the seal of the gas mask if you have facial hair on. That's part of the reason.
That's an actual drill you guys have to do. I had a buddy, he told me about this drill with the gas mask. I said, my God, imagine me doing that drill.
Part of the training is actually to sit in the decon suit, just sit there for like 4 straight hours. You just have to sit in the suit.
I would fail.
There's like a little drinking tube on your canteen. You could pull a little tube out of your gas mask and you put it in the canteen. You'll be able to drink. It's just, the idea is for you to not pass out, need medical attention. But sometimes they make you do like PT in it, like you'll be in the gas mask in the whole suit, the MOP gear, they call it. Mission oriented and protective posture is what MOP stands for. And you have to wear the MOP gear. Yeah. I bet everybody thought this was the way they were going to start their new year, on how to prevent a biological attack. within their homes. Yeah.
Couple things I've just learned. Number one, apparently a beard prevents you from surviving a biological attack. Number two, you can actually sit still for 4 hours. I've hung out with you before. That is maybe one of the most shocking things I have ever learned, that you can actually sit down for 4 hours.
I don't really sit there. I just have to stay in the suit for 4 hours. But
Oh,
after a while, you
yeah.
just try to
I
take a
miss
nap. Like it's in. You ever like you're from Ohio, so you ever like lay in snow and all of a sudden you feel warm laying in snow, right?
Mhm.
Like after a while, you get cozy. Like after like an hour in that thing, you just realize, well, I'm cozy. I'm just gonna take a little nap. That's what you do.
I've never
So you
laid in
get the
snow
all
before.
clear. Okay,
Anyway,
I'm taking a nap in the snow.
Mark Zinno, today is a great day for him. You know why? Not only did he
Yes,
get to share some of his behind the scenes tales from the United States Army, thank you for your
yes.
service, Mark, but today is
Yeah.
also the final day Mark has to hear me promote my 5% play that
Oh
is
God.
still available. Today's the day, New Year's Day. It goes 5% max bet. We're 9-3 with 5% football plays over the last 13 months. These do not come around very often. So please, if you have not already gotten down, time is ticking. WT.buzz/BP. All right. We've given you 2 playoff games so far for New Year's Day. Mark handled the Rose Bowl. I handled the Peach Bowl. We've still got the Sugar Bowl. And this is one of the real interesting ones. Georgia and Notre Dame, Mark. The X factor. You know, the X factor is a term that's overused in handicapping, I think, but we do have a legitimate X factor. I don't know any other way to refer to it, as Gunnar Stockton makes his first career start for Georgia.
Yeah.
We a lot of us don't know what to expect as he starts in place of the injured Carson Beck.
Who, oh,
We've
by
got
the
a
way, is
player
not going to be
prop.
drafted until day 3 in the NFL draft.
No, we'll
He's
give him
not
a
a.
lot more time. It'll
He's
give him a
not a
lot
top.
more time to post on Instagram. He can be in the the green room at the draft, posting on Instagram the whole time. It gives him more time.
There's no green room for him to be in. He should be at home on his couch.
Okay.
That's
Well,
not a
I
third
that's
round quarterback in the NFL. It's just not.
okay. That's not my decision to make. We're going to talk about Gunnar Stockton today, and
Okay.
look, we know what he does well. As soon as he came into the SEC championship game, they're like, well, this guy's a threat with his legs. So, what are we going to do with our best bet, Mark Zinno, in this game here as Georgia takes on Notre Dame?
We're going to take Gunnar Stockton over his rushing yards. I know not everybody everywhere can bet this because
Same
sometimes
with
college
Scatterbo,
props
yes.
aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, college props aren't allowed. So forgive us here. But maybe phone a friend who lives in a place where you can do it, or go offshore. Why not? Nonetheless, Gunnar Stockton ran 8 times in one half against Texas coming to that game. Now it says 8 times for 8 yards is what the box score says. But we know in college, every time you get a sack, that's negative rushing yards for a quarterback, which is stupid. But nonetheless, he ran 8 times and he got 19 yards in an unscripted format here against Texas. I expect that he will see a similar defensive effort from Notre Dame. Well, I don't think they are as good as Texas. I think Notre Dame defense can get after it and will create some rush problems for Gunnar Stockton. And when all else fails, with a quarterback who's highly nervous in his first start in a playoff game, he's going to tuck the ball and run whenever the situation presents itself. He's a good runner. He's got good legs. It's part of what makes Georgia's offense successful is when their quarterback can be mobile and take off and run. I think we see a lot of it here. Yes, we have to worry about the sack yardage thing, right? Like him taking sacks is
Mhm.
going to hurt this, and it's always a threat. But I expect that he will have enough big chunk plays here where that won't hurt us. So the biggest thing here is that he avoids sacks. I think he can. I think he will. And he's going to take off as often as possible because that's the safest play for a young quarterback making his second ever start. I think first ever start in a playoff game, obviously.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll trust his legs here. Gunnar Stockton over 17.5 rushing yards.
Mark Zinno feels Gunnar Stockton has, quote, nice legs, and we're going over 17.5 yards rushing. Now, I want to say something. So you and I were talking about this the other day, and you obviously know the Georgia program well, and I think it's something that we should share with the viewers. I asked you, I'm like, does it say anything about Gunnar Stockton that Kirby Smart never turned to him this year, even when Carson Beck was struggling? You had a very, I thought, salient and definitive answer to that question that
That's
perhaps
how
you could
Kirby does.
share with me.
I mean, he had Justin Fields sitting and waiting and never played him. He chose his starter. That was always going to be his starter, unless there was an injury. He was not backing off. It's not what Kirby. I mean, again, you know, a la Nick Saban. Like you see, what Nick Saban pulled. Not Tua. Who's the other guy? He pulled whoever else
It was
for
the guy.
Tua,
Yes.
only in the championship game.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the only reason he hasn't gone to him.
Okay. So that just so everyone knows, because that was something I was thinking about. I'm like, yeah, as I was breaking down this game, I'm like, man, does it say something that as much as Beck was struggling, they never turned to Gunnar Stockton until they obviously have to now out of necessity? Mark Zinno says no. Kirby Smart is a loyal man. Carson Beck was his guy. And unless if he got hurt, which he is, he was not going to make a change. So there it is. 3 college football playoff games on New Year's Day. Mark Zinno and I gave you 3 picks. Like he said, phone a friend if you live in a state that does not have
That's what I
college
did.
props. Yes. I live in a state that doesn't have college props, actually, so
Okay.
I phoned a friend as well.
There you go.
There you go. All right. That's going to do it. Our
Let's get
first
at
show is in the books. Was it okay?
Yeah,
Did you think?
it was good.
What'd you think?
It was good.
Okay.
Yes.
We've set a bar. I think we can top it moving forward, though.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, there we. Okay. Certainly.
There we go.
Some.
Yes.
Okay. Some people think there's work to be done. But guess what? We got 364 more days to figure it out.
And I can't wait to do every single one of them with you.
Smash the like button, comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel.
And oh, by the
Here's
way,
to a great 2025. And
while you're
let's do it.
phoning a friend to make the bet, tell them about the show. Tell them to check it out. Tell them to check it out. And we start the year with Patty Johnson.
Zinno, cash is tickets. Always got my back.